What's up, guys? Episode 7 of the Discipline Legacy podcast here with my guy, Peter Lamos.
What's up, guys?
We're here at Golden Touch Tattoo. He's done most of my ink, and we've always talked about having a podcast while getting a tattoo. So what better way to do it than
Finally, man.
this chest piece right here. So we'll go ahead and go with the same kind of background, and you know, I'll let you take it, Pete. You know, just tell us how you started on your journey with you know, start from whenever you were a kid. Give us a little bit of a background.
That's good, man. Thanks for having me, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from Slovakia, from small town. I was born and raised over there, and pretty much my entire life I was drawing and painting. When I was around like 12, I got really a lot into graffiti and doing murals. So we were doing a lot of buildings and stuff like that. I went to art school as well, which I kind of like quit after 2 years because I had to make money. And I was already tattooing at that point, which I started, man, like when I was like 15, I think I got my first tattoo machine.
Wow.
And yeah, it was wild. Like they almost kicked me out of the school. Like back home, it was so strict.
A 15-year-old.
Yeah. I was practicing on a fake skin, but it was very strict. Like I don't remember. Like I got my neck tattooed, I believe, when I was like 15. I don't think I was even 16. And I'm like 15. And I was the only one in town. Like I remember, like I would go to the school and people wouldn't even sit next to me in the bus. So it was crazy, and I loved actually like that part of it because it was kind of like the tattooing back then. It was about like express, you know, like your personality. I always tell people, I'm like, I didn't get my neck tattooed to look like a person that want to talk to, you know? So it was kind of like being the rebel. It was a little bit different. It wasn't like these days, almost everybody's got full sleeves and a lot of tattoos. And pretty much people tolerate that. It's much more accepted these days than it used to be. But yeah, so I've been tattooing since I was 15. Within like first 2 years, just practicing by myself on a fake skin. Few friends, they hired me at the tattoo shop where I was tattooing almost like 3 years, I would say. It was in different towns, so I remember that's why I even quit the school, because I had to take a train or go to the other town. And I was tattooing over there from Monday to Friday. And then I packed all my stuff and I took it back home, and I was tattooing the whole weekend, all my friends for free. I was just like, let me do this. She's all do that. Yeah. And especially like back then, we didn't have like all these apps and Procreate, you know, like Pinterest, whatever. So I only had like these old magazines from Germany, about tattooing. So each design, you know, I was just trying to like cut the picture, you know, kind of like put some twist to it, make something custom. It was so much more complicated. We have to make our own needles, you know, like now we have the rotary machine. So the industry made a huge progress for sure. But yes, I was at the shop for like three years, tattooing every day. And then I got to the point that I was posting my pictures on this website called True Artist. And out of nowhere, I got an email. They invited me here to Florida to come to Tampa as a guest artist.
How old were you on that?
I think I was like 18. Yes. So I was at the shop since 15 or 16. Yeah, around like 18, 19. And I got the email if I would like to come visit for a couple months and be like a guest artist, and also like show people how to do realism, because that was kind of like my main thing. I focused on portraits.
Right.
And yes, I was like, why not? I didn't even speak English at all. So it was definitely big step. But I was like, why not? Let's try. So I got here, and I was tattooing in Tampa for a few months, and I got opportunity to go to a bunch of tattoo conventions. And I won first place at the most of them. I was lucky enough.
It's crazy. So like, dropped out of school, artistic since early on, right? Creative. Dropped out of school to follow your passion, which was obviously art. Tattooing is just art on the skin, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where you excelled to where, you know, you're being selected to interact and go to these conventions and actually come to the United States.
Yep. It's definitely, it's kind of like not just tattooing and do arts. It's about like to be an artist, kind of like the whole lifestyle, you know, like it's not a job, it's not a hobby, it's kind of like it's the way you live, it's the entire life. I put everything in it, and like crazy amount of hours as well. So there is no other way, you know, there is no shortcuts, there is no any like tattoo school that somebody can show you how to do it. You really have to go through so many people and different types of skin, because each piece is going to be something different, you know? So you can do, let's say, 10 clients, everything goes smooth, but then you have another one which might have, I don't know, like diabetes or something like that. And now the skin reacts completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to figure it out how to work with the skin and find a way. And there is nothing, just hours and hours in, you know? I done over, I believe, 25,000 hours of tattooing since I was 15 in like 16 years what I'm doing this professionally. And yeah, but those shows, it was one of the biggest parts for me to build my name and show people my work, because
this was when? What year was it?
It was 11 years ago.
Like pretty much before social media. Before
Yeah, kind of like it wasn't too big on the social media. We already I think like Facebook and Instagram, but it wasn't the same like it's today, you know. But really like the main part was to show people in real life, you know, your work and build a name. There is nothing better than actually so people can see your tattoos, your artwork, and especially healed as well, you know. So that's a huge part of it, because you can finish tattoo that looks beautiful, but it doesn't look like that at all once it heals.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
that's the main part of it. So yeah, I spent a lot of money. I sold everything back home. I sold my car so I can come here. And people don't see another part of what's doing tattoo conventions is that it's not cheap. It's definitely not cheap. Like that weekend can cost me easily up to $5,000.
Yeah.
You know, like to fly somewhere or drive somewhere, to pack pretty much half of my shop, or get a hotel, food, so all together, pay for a booth. Because before, I always had to pay for my own booth because I didn't have any sponsorship or anything like that. Now these days I can be in a booth with one of my sponsors, which is incredible.
You're sponsored now.
Yes. Thank God. it was a journey for sure. So yeah, I done over probably 60 shows. And I won most of the first places, a lot of best of show. And that was the point when, because I only had the work visas. So okay. I was planning to stay here only like 6 months. But after all these tattoo conventions, I kind of decided, like, let's try and apply for a green card to become a permanent resident, which was it sounded almost impossible as an artist, you know, to even ask for something like that. Mm-hmm. But I hired a lawyer, and she told me like all the paperwork, everything I need to get done. So I did my best, and it worked out. It worked out, but it was definitely a long
So
journey.
you were able to receive a green card for being an artist.
Yes, actually, back then, I think it was one of the first artists in a history. That's why the process was insane, because they didn't even have kind of like the special category for it. So it was under, I think, alien with extraordinary abilities category. And I had to prove like everything, like every single show I went to, like that I was a judge, all the magazines, and every single one I had to add the contact. And they really called every single one if I really was there, like if I didn't make it up, or something like that. And that took almost a year. And then finally, after all like millions of papers, I had to write 5 letters, like what's my goal, where I see myself, let's say 10 years from now. I need like recommendation letters from some of the old school tattooers that are well known in the industry to kind of like
Brown
give me, and it was just so much work over, let's say, 1 year until I finally got that phone call that I was approved for a green card and I can become a permanent resident. And I only need one more step. So I have to go back home to my country and go to American embassy over there and just finish some, the last paperwork and stuff like that. So they told me that it might be around like 2 weeks. And from 2 weeks, I was stuck home for over a year. And like over a year, they took my passport, so I couldn't travel. I had all my stuff here. I had my apartment. So then eventually, I had to call some of my friends to move me out of my apartment. I had to sell my car I had over here. I made them to send me all my tattoo stuff back home so I can at least start working again, because I was stuck back home without anything, because I already have all my stuff here. And so that was over a year. And after that, I got the phone call that, okay, everything is ready. You can come to embassy and just sign some last paperwork and you are all set. So I went there and they took me to this room. And there was only like 3 guys and big, huge table. And full of papers, man. I'm looking at it, I'm like, what is that? Like literally hundreds of pages of papers. And I got closer, I'm looking at it, bro. They had all my messages from my Instagram, Facebook, my private phone, my emails, pictures, everything printed. Wow. Literally they knew about speeding ticket I got when I was 18, like literally everything. So yeah, that was insane. So I was there for like 2 hours. They were asking me all these crazy questions if I ever like talk about terrorism or stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is way too serious.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But yeah, then I got approved. They gave me this envelope with I think 700 pages. They told me I cannot open it, and when I come back here to America, when I go through the immigration, I have to give the envelope to the officer over there, and he's gonna open it, go through it, and either let me go or say no. That was another part of it, that I was talking to my lawyer, and she was like, okay, yeah, you are approved, but don't be too excited yet.
Wow.
Because right now it's all about that one person that's going to be at the immigration. And she literally told me, like, if he's going to have a bad day, he's just going to be no.
Yeah.
And there is nowhere you can go and complain about it. And the worst part is that if that happens, I would be banned from America forever. Because once you are applied for citizenship, or for permanent residency. If they say no, I would never even be able to come and visit as a tourist.
Wow.
Because they're immediately in a system that you apply that you want to live here, but they deny it. So they would think that I would come here and stay illegally.
Right.
So it was crazy, but thank God everything was fine. The paperwork was, bulletproof. I'd done everything right, and like in almost 2 years, I was able to come back and start my journey, man.
So what is that? Obviously, like the what goes through your mind when you're going through that situation and you're sitting in another country, you have all your stuff here, you got an apartment sitting and waiting for you. What's going through your mind at that point? And like, obviously, how did you get through it? Because you did get through it. So,
Matt, it was not easy. Like, I was like hoping for the best always, but I was slowly kind of like getting ready for, like the worst scenario, which is, well, if they're gonna say no, well, it is what it is. There is nothing I can do about it. So I slowly started taking clients back home, and I was just waiting what's gonna happen. But it was definitely a lot of stress, and it was a lot of pressure on me because I already had some plans over here, where I want to take my business and how I want to do it. And it's definitely a lot more opportunities here in America than back home, especially in this tattoo industry, So it would definitely affect my life if they said no back then. But it all worked out.
But you pushed through it. You just continued to hope for the best. And
I always thought, like, there was so many situations that I was like, is this even worth to go there and do another paperwork or go to see a doctor, get the blood work done every 2 months? Each time you go there, it's $500, of course, because there is only one doctor that is connected to American Embassy, and you have to go get your blood work done, that you are healthy, you don't have any diseases or stuff like that. And now it's only good for 2 months. So each time they told me, it might be only 2 more weeks. And it was another 2 months. So go ahead and again. So very much. And back home, like, you don't make that much money. Okay. So let's say, to compare it to America, like in Slovakia, if you make, let's say, 1,500, 2,000 euros, which is almost the same as a dollar right now, a month, you're doing great. You're doing really good. So imagine, just spending 500 there, 500 there. It was like here in America spending tens of thousands of dollars, So it was huge risk. Like, I was,
it's hard to make.
Yeah, like I was putting all my money pretty much into this.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I sold my car. I put, like, there was no plan B. I was like, I put everything on this car. I'm like, this has to work out, and it did.
Nice. So you get here, you already have a name established. You still have your apartment at that point, or
no? Because that would be another, expense to pay like $2,000 a month for something that I don't even know if I'm, going back, if I'm gonna be able to, or no. So I made my friends to move out all my stuff from the apartment, and I was only renting like a storage unit for a couple $100 a month for all my stuff. So it was crazy. I got back home. I was like looking for at least some small apartment to rent real quick. Thank God I had some good friends already here, so I was able to stay with them for a couple of weeks until I figured it out. So that was definitely a huge help,
When you say here, where's here?
So here, so when I got back, first I went to Tampa.
Okay.
Still, and I already met hundreds of people through the tattoo conventions, and I got this good opportunity to open a tattoo shop here in like Port St. Lucie area, Jensen. And so I took it and I moved from Tampa to this area completely like out of nowhere. I didn't know anybody, but after all the time I traveled, like I was always pretty much on the road. Like I would get back home or back to the shop, or I would be tattooing for like 1 week, and then I had to pack everything, and I was going to, let's say, California to do a show over there. From Cali, I would fly back home. Then in 2 weeks, I had to go to Vegas. I was doing a show in Vegas. Then we got back home. We decided to do a show in Richmond, Virginia. So we drove over there. I remember it was like 15 hours. It took us like all together with all the stuffs. We had like this van. It was, I think, like 7 of us. And yeah, we were driving like through the whole night, and I didn't even sleep, nothing. We got there at like 8 a.m. and I went straight to the show and started tattooing and finished around like 10 p.m. So it was a lot of
discipline.
Oh yeah, a lot of discipline and work ethic, and
then just to kind of put it into perspective, obviously, like where you're at today, you know, you have a pretty large following on social media. You're booked out for months. You know, I think for me, every single time I booked to catch you, I was 3-4. Even I think I had one where I was at 6 months out.
Yeah.
So you're booked out. You tattoo every single day, right?
5 days a week. 5 days a week. Yeah, I'm trying to take like 2 days off to kind of like a little, you know, get some break from my eyes. And overall, it's kind of like, it's not natural to be able to be sharp and focused and creative for 60, 70 hours every single week, you know. It's a little too much, and I don't want to get to the point that I'm going to burn myself out, you know, or get to the point that I'm not going to be enjoying what I'm doing, you know. Because each tattoo is special for me. Like I always tell all my clients that it's not your tattoo, it's my tattoo, you're just wearing it, you know. I'm like, it's my name on it forever, so it's a little piece of me, and if I wouldn't be happy with it, I wouldn't even start or do the piece, you know. So I take every piece very personal, and that I believe you can see on my work as well.
We've talked about that before too, like when folks come in here, like it's your tattoo, right? So you show them like a Google picture, and he doesn't just copy and paste it and put it into, you know, a stencil. It's, hey, I want something like this, and a full design is completed.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing. Every single tattoo is unique. It's
like
so different. You know, and you know, that's why I come here. That's why I enjoy getting my art done by him, and talk about that too, because I guess you want to move into now more like canvas art.
Yeah, like back to beginnings. Kind of. I will never stop tattooing. That's my whole life. I'm forever gonna be tattooing until I can hold the machine. I'm gonna be tattooing, but lately, I want to get back to a canvas. I want to get back to do a murals, some graffiti artwork, maybe airbrushing. It's just to take my mind a little bit, you know, to different direction and do some different techniques as well. And also, I feel like as a tattoo artist, I put my entire life into this game, and I mean, it's weird to say, but eventually, like, everybody's gonna die one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much all my artwork one day is gonna disappear, and it's kind of sad to look at it that way, but I also want to leave something behind me, you know? So if I leave some paintings, you know, like,
yeah,
like once I'm not here, somebody might keep them, who knows?
No, I mean, it's crazy, especially now, this day and age. You see some of the artwork that's out there, and I mean, you got guys that are getting paid $100,000 to throw paint on a par.
Yeah,
There's some of this stuff that's out there. I mean, obviously,
it's
for money is one thing, but to do it because of your creative, spirit, your creative heart, and obviously get paid for it as well. But to leave your mark on the world,
yeah. But the art is never the same if the motivation is the money. That's the thing. And that's, I forgot to tell that, like at the beginning when I started, I didn't even know how much tattoo artists charge.
Yeah.
Or is there any money in it or anything like that. It wasn't my point, but like I started because I just loved the whole culture of it, the entire lifestyle. And I'm like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to do my best. And like I said, I had these magazines from Germany. And first time I saw some world-known artists, work like Bob Farrell. Like he was a huge inspiration for me. That was the first person I seen doing black and gray portraits on insane level. And I was like, wow. And especially because I always focus on the realism and portraits. And I was like, oh, if he can do it, I can definitely do it too. And I just start focusing on the realism more and more and more. But it's a journey, it takes the steps. Like you have to start with the smaller tattoos, kind of like get to know the skin, know your equipment, what you're working with, try all the different types of needles. Because like the portrait, I would say, is like the last stage, you can have a realistic flower, but if you move some things around, it's still gonna be nice flower. But if you do somebody's portrait and you move one, I don't know, like you move some eyelashes or something, it's different person. Like it has to be like on point. So it's sad that there is a lot of guys these days that they would be like, oh yeah, sure, I can do a portrait for you, and they don't really know what they are doing. And now the person leaves the shop with something that looks like a French bulldog, and it was supposed to be a mom's portrait or something.
Yeah. So that, would you say that your specialty is portraits, but like, would you say that you're comfortable doing like all forms of it?
Yeah, I love every single style, 100%. Like I love from American traditional. It can be done really nicely if it's done right. Like a lot of people think that just because it's like those designs are simpler, that is like easy to tattoo, but no, it's not at all. Like to pull like all those bold lines, super straight, filling the ink, consistently, so we don't have any blow-ups, you don't have any patches. It's a lot. It takes a lot of knowledge, to master it. So I love every style, but I was always focusing on mostly like the realism or surrealism, kind of almost like the Salvador Dali's vibe style. When pretty much anything that's interesting and is different, always trying to push the levels, do something that people didn't see before, maybe add some stuff that the piece look almost like it's in the movement, or play with a lot of depth. That's another huge thing. So like when you take a picture with the camera and whatever is right there in front, it's going to be nice and sharp and crispy, right? And then whatever is in the background is a little blurry. So when you apply that to a skin and you do the design super nice and crispy, and then whatever is in the background, you do a little defocused, like blurry, it creates the depth, like the illusion for your eye that is literally coming off the skin. So much that there is so many, like easy people apply different styles and ideas. So it's every single piece is in text.
How did you get to the point where you were able to realize that stuff? Was there trial and error? Was it research? I mean,
Yes. What's that weird? I would say it's still something like, I believe it's like never ending. Like you learn something through your whole life, there's always something. And even like the industry, that's it 10 years ago, everybody was using coil machines. So now these days, everyone switched to tape machines, which is kind of like more comfortable to work with because it like you, so you can calculate right the needles. With a claw machine, if I want to use 5 different needles, I would have to set up 5 different machines for each needle. Now I have only one machine and I can switch the cartridges. So you touch faster, it's cleaner, it's kind of like easier to work with. So it's like never ending story. They always sign out and something, the pigment is master, this is it used to be. No, like not like this that I was from 90s, or it's like yeah. So yeah, it's not any that's I don't like it. It's fucking a lot. That's what's good about.
And then, so obviously where you're at now, you're pretty well known. You're at, a point where you kind of, people are you're scheduled out. So what do you think is next for you on, and just, I guess you would say you've reached like kind of like the pinnacle of being an artist.
What's next? Like I said, definitely when I did back with 19 and eventually from those trainings set up with ideas that you the bigger and more complicated projects on people. Like when I see some of the Japanese artists that do like completely full body compositions, whether it's on like one design, you're very much like the art from chest all the way down to the thumbs. So that's something, but not my people, it's open to, but it's beautiful and just trying to push the limits and whatever life brings,
Yeah. And then, so obviously moving into different canvases, full body compositions like you're talking about, and graffiti.
Yep.
Obviously we're in South Florida, you got a lot of stuff, you got a lot of canvases, and people are moving in that direction where, like you said, it's more accepted now. With that being said, what kind of impact do you want to leave while kind of moving in that direction?
Well, I would say with today's world, when everything is pretty much, when everything's gonna be run soon by AI and all this technology, kind of like inspired these young kids, that like there is nothing better than just piece of art that it's made by somebody. If it's a music, people play instrument or any type of creating something, it's always the best way to express yourself. And I'm afraid that it's like slowly dying, like people are not that interested that much to put that work in and just looking always for some shortcuts and, like just have an app and tell your app to design you, something, but it's kind of like soulless, it's like, it's not the same. It's like, if you have some musician and he writes a song about something that is really from the heart, it's gonna hit differently than just say, "Oh, Chat GPT, write me a song about this and that," and it's done in a second. It might be catchy, but like the message is not there.
So I think that's been like a common theme for me so far in the series of podcasts that I've done, because everybody's successful, right? Everybody gets to a point where, like I said, you reach a certain point where you're like, all right, now what do I do? And, you kind of connected to that with saying that you wanted to inspire or teach others.
Yeah.
And I feel like even for me and my background I feel like you can't keep it without giving it away. Every single person gets to a point where they're like, yeah, I want to teach someone else how to do what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I believe it's kind of like the teaching somebody, it's kind of like connected to learning as well. I feel like when I was in a position that I had to explain somebody like what I'm doing and how it works. And on the end of the day, I always felt like I learned something new as well, about myself, or even like the other person. Everybody got something different to bring to the table, and that's why you got like limitless options of the different styles and art and different perspective how people see it. So that's what gets it interesting and exciting.
I can identify with that for sure. There's anytime you're giving back in any type of way, like I feel guilty because I feel like I get more out of it than the other person does. But I think that when you reach that certain level where you have so much information, you have so much knowledge that you have to give it away, you're open-minded enough to receive as well.
Exactly. That's a big part of it, and kind of like share it all together. Like you have to be it's all about the personality as well, like you get some people that they would never share, their knowledge, or they want to charge like crazy amount of money for it. I feel more like if it's there, like this is what I do, I don't have a problem to show you how I do it, and you're never gonna do it exactly how I do, like you can put your own touch to it. But yeah, I don't have a problem to share like my knowledge with other people. I think it's kind of part of my job, like I put crazy amount of hours in it, so might as well help somebody else to maybe create something, amazing.
Yeah, for me too, I think the same as far as, obviously my time is valuable. I'm a very busy guy and the plate's overflowing, and you are as well, because you're always, working. And then when you are off or have time, you want to spend it with, relaxing. So
yeah.
What would that look like for your future if you were to, move in that direction?
So my future, I just want to travel a lot more again, kind of like meet new people, even in the industry or any other design industries as well. Share my art all around the world, like see different places, and just do as many tattoos as possible and just leave some kind of big portfolio behind me, and just touch as many people as possible, because like I said before, it's like every single piece is special, and especially like to get big projects done, it takes, like many hours. So you kind of like become a friend with that person as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like very interesting to hear all the different stories of life, and kind of like it opens your eyes and you see things differently, and I think that's what life is all about.
Build relationships.
Yeah.
I've been here like 5-6 times.
Yeah.
Let's know each other now. We're going to, but no, that's awesome, man. And like I feel like the same thing as far as trying to leave a legacy, trying to leave something behind. For you, it would be like a portfolio or is it art? And, but putting it on paper, somebody told me that too, write a book or whatever, because that book's going to live on past you.
Yes, that's not it.
So would you see yourself moving in that direction?
Oh, of course.
Let's say a young kid comes in and says, hey, I want to, because that's what this is all about, right? We want to spread hope. We want to spread, knowledge. We want others to see what we're doing. And so a young kid could say, hey, you know what? I can grow up and do that. So how would you think you would move in that direction to say, for someone that came in and said, hey, I want you to teach me?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I would definitely be open to it. And even the idea about the book is definitely great. I feel like it's definitely a journey, to get something like that done. And I've been in the industry, like I said, over 16 years now, but I still feel like, there is always still a lot more to learn and experience until I decide to kind of like put it all into one book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still wanna push some limits, and hopefully one day, I can make some kind of big.
Well, even if it's not like a writing book, but even like you said, with every design being unique, would you share your design with others?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, obviously, you can go see all the tattoos on his Instagram so yeah, I guess now we'll move into what are things we know what you want to do next. What is it? What drives you now? Being a veteran in your craft. Where is it? Because obviously when you're young, you're hungry, you're disciplined, you're focused. As you get older, I can identify with it myself. Not that you get comfortable, but you become seasoned. You can what you do. So what is it now that still drives you to have that same kind of hunger and drive?
Well, it's definitely about, for me, not to get stuck in a comfort zone. And it's very easy, to let it happen. Like once you, like you said, you have some stable clientele, what your income is, and you never have to worry about clients, they're all out there. You get even kind of a little picky, once you have 100 emails, everybody wants your work, you kind of can choose what you want to do and what you don't. And it's good to kind of remember and stay humble, I always remember where I'm from, and I appreciate every single client. So kind of get some, I always like to challenge myself and do something better or do something even more complicated. So I think that's what keeps the fire.
So you talked about that, getting emails and stuff. So you're able to see what people want whenever they reach out to you, right?
And also kind of I always think, because some people, they would send me exactly picture, oh, this is what I want to do. But I'm not an artist. I'm trying to incorporate it and kind of stressing out too much about the design. But I'm trying to explain to everybody that that's part of my job. It's part of my job to help you with the design. You don't need any specific idea. It's not your job. It's if you go to your dentist, you don't tell him what to do. He's the professional. He will tell you what needs to be done. So it's the same thing with the tattoos or any type of or other project or design. So definitely help people and share the many different options that we have these days, and not to be just stuck in one direction, but be open to create some new, more complicated projects and just be different.
Yeah, unique.
Yep.
I think that's my focus is to be different than the pack, be different than everybody that's out there, have that uniqueness, and showcase it, right? Because a lot of people are still stuck in that old way, I'm just gonna do me, keep my mouth shut, keep my head straight. But if God gives you a gift, or if you have a certain gift, why wouldn't you want to sit? Why wouldn't you want to talk about it? Why wouldn't you want to showcase it to the world? So,
and use it the right way.
I mean, most people, like I said, yes, of course, it's great to get paid for certain things, but at the same time, if you get money can't buy the feeling of accomplishment. Money can't buy the joy and the peace that you get from doing what it is that you love to do every day.
Absolutely. And a huge aspect of it is how I see it. Also, the whole school system, let's say, they force you to be like everybody else, just finish the school, find a good job, listen teacher, when you finish the school, listen your boss, and that's what, that won't give you anywhere. So actually, not to be scared to, take the risk, go for what you really want to be a pro, hockey player, well, go for it, you don't have to be incredible in every other, any other discipline. If that's what you love to do, and you just have to believe in yourself, and it's out there, you just have to go and go for it.
So it's the same thing I tell my son, him growing up, what do you want to be?
Oh, I want to be a YouTuber. Oh, I want to play sports. I want to do jiu-jitsu. Well, guess what? What do we got to do to do it? You know, setting that precedent for and the list of things that you need to do to be able to accomplish that goal.
Like split it to small steps and then focus on one each time. Because also we don't want to get like overwhelmed as well, you know? So kind of like to be able to break, you know, like, you know, you need to, you know, like they said, dream big, you know, like you should set up the goals high, but also you can get from point A to point B just in one step, you know, it's a journey. And so like to fall in love with the process, it's a huge part of it, you know, not to focus always just at the, you know, for the destination. It will come eventually, and it will come much faster if you love the journey, you know.
I guess we'll leave off with this. Like, if you had to say something to yourself, you know, when you first started your journey, if you could go back and say anything to yourself, what would you tell yourself?
Don't stress too much about small stuff. It all can be fixed, and just keep going.
Yeah. And then, you know, how can everybody find you? You know, obviously moving on from that, I want to get tattooed by you, follow you.
People can find me on social medias. On Instagram, it's Peter Lamos MT. Or on Facebook, Peter Lamos, or on a Google Golden Touch Tattoo. You guys can see all my artwork over there and contacts to reach out to me. Yep, and I'll be ready for any of your clients or any of your messages, guys.
Getting ready for just beginning month. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. We'll show the finished product, and you know, I appreciate everybody following, and see you on the next one.
All right, see you guys. Thanks.